What's a normal thing that makes you strangely sad? When I see a business, like a restaurant or a shop, that is completely empty with no customers in it, I think about all the work and investment that went into setting up the business and feel so bad for the owners when they don't get any attention. Don't know why that makes me feel so sad. The passage of time. A shopping street with a lot of permanently closed stores. Listening to music from a few years ago. It reminds me of the times I was a kid. When an old person is walking around alone, makes me wonder if they have anybody in their life. Songs with happy lyrics, but the music itself sounds slow and sad. Watching old videos of me when I was a kid, I just feel like I'm so old now. I'm not, and time just won't slow down. Seeing all my friends posting pics of their families and kids on social media. I don't necessarily want kids. I'm not sure I even want a spouse. But sometimes seeing it all fills me with a strange sadness. I think so much of it is growing up. It was something expected of me, not a desire. So I feel I'm letting my family down or something. Dunno. When a good book series ends, I feel like I'm losing friends. Social media. It's normalized, I suppose. But I work at a marketing job for a mid-market retail website. It's amazing to me that even on a simple Facebook ad for some Nike footwear, the conversation can degrade into such vitriol without much effort. It just makes me sad to see. And I have to see it for my job pretty much every day. The normality of emotionally abusing children. It has devastating and real consequences, and just because it is common doesn't mean it shouldn't be stopped. Seeing other people my age in relationships, seeing the empty space on the couch, reminds me of all the people who I used to see, now no longer in my life. A film ending. If I watch a film, I'm sad for the rest of the day because it's over. When movies end, now it's back to this barrel of shite. Seeing a creature with low IQ punished that doesn't understand it is being punished or why. The fact that I'll never live the dream life, I'll never get the beautiful mansion or fancy car or the high-paying job, and it's the same case most of the world, so it's pretty normal, but it's still really sad. People falling out, especially long-term friends. I know it's a part of being human, and that not everyone gets along all the time. But it hurts watching relationships crumble in just a second. The beauty of nature. The world is so beautiful and we get to spend so little time just enjoying it. Seeing a lonely and awkward kid in the class. I always think of what they might be in the future, being too awkward for people to be friends with, and ending up eating alone for the rest of his or her life. Kids being all happy with their friends. I'm always so sad to think that one day they'll start getting hurt by other people for no good reason, when they all start as pals. Obese animals. Makes me feel like we're doing something very wrong besides the obvious, really weird thing, but it makes me sad seeing things in stores like Goodwill that I know people probably haven't touched in ages. I saw a Fantastic Four action figure a few months back from the 2005 movie, and seeing that just made me feel empty. Hearing about people in happy relationships. Going shopping reminds me of the vastness and complexity of industrialization and my comparative insignificance and ignorance. My wife hates taking me to the mall. Mentally slow people. I don't mean like an insult, but people who are really, truly medically retarded, like a 5-year-old in a 60-year-old body. That shit just breaks my heart every time. Death, it's a strange sadness unlike any other I feel. Seeing any picture of my daughter when she was young. She's so adorable. But it makes me realize how fast the time flies and that I can never go back to those moments. Seeing anything that's very cute. Toddlers wearing glasses. Even though usually it's a short-term corrective treatment. Something about it just makes me feel sad and sorry for them. Older people going out to eat and sitting alone. Whales don't die of old age. They drown. Seeing stuffed animals in charity shops. I used to think it was nice they would get a new home with a child that loves them. Then I found out my sister buys them from charity shops to give to her Malamute husky. He tears them to pieces. Literal pieces. Now if I see a stuffed animal in a charity shop window, I wonder if they'll end up with an Andy or a Sid. My children getting bigger. One day I wake up and look at my 7-month-old and suddenly see his hands are so much bigger. Or he overnight grasps how to crawl and takes off exploring. Or to see my 5-year-old, hearing her personality blossom in the way she speaks. Suddenly her hair is finally long enough for her first haircut. I swore to myself I'd pay close attention while I was home with my babies. Yet it still slips away from me. This culture of hooking up looks all fun and games on the surface, but I feel like a lot of people just carry a lot of hurt in. Use hookups as another means of escape. Birthdays. People adopting animals because their previous ones passed away. Hits me on a deep personal level, and one of my reasons to work at the local shelter once this pandemic settles. Finding photos. Every now and then I'll buy a second-hand book and someone will have slipped a photo inside. I assume either for safekeeping or to use as a bookmark. They're never super old photos. And they never seem super precious. But that person in the photo is a person. You know, sometime in the past, someone decided that the sight of that smiling little kid at the foot of a slide on a summer's day was something they wanted a memory of. Maybe that kid's still out there somewhere. Maybe he grew up and he's about my age. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's an asshole. I don't know, but someone wanted a picture of him. And now they don't have that picture anymore. And what do you even do with a photo? You can't throw it out, because that seems rude. You can't return the photo to the owner with a "here, you forgot this," because you don't know who they are. So you keep it inside the book it came in, waiting until the day you forget it's there and have a clear out and the book goes back to a charity or tea shop maybe hundreds of miles away. If you've moved house in the interim and the whole process can start again. Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. When I make a really nice cup of tea and go to take the final sip only to realize I had drank it all. When people cut down a perfectly healthy tree in their yard. Parents who disregard or even get angry at their kids asking questions. They are looking up to their parent as someone to learn from that they respect. And some parents just get annoyed and want their kids to leave them alone so they can watch TV or be on their phone. People with well-established lives. I am so close, but I just can't get there yet. Minecraft music. The other day I straight up started crying my eyes out when the music came on while I was playing. Whenever I hear it, I just begin to remember the good old days of just playing Minecraft with my dad and brother. Watching Sky does Minecraft and Stampy Longnose, unaware of everything that is wrong with the world. I miss the innocence, and hearing the music from the game just triggers those emotions in me. Seeing uncooked prawns in a supermarket. Bear with me. They're in the same packaging as cooked, ready-to-eat prawns, and right next to them, I always picture someone with special needs who is able to live on their own and shop for themselves for the first time, having been taught how to be independent in some kind of adult learning facility. They like prawns, but don't realize the gray ones are dangerous and need cooking, so they eat them and get really ill. No idea why that thought always pops into my head when I see them. And it makes me feel sad every time. Empty houses. I feel sorry for them. Boarded up. Mom and pop shops in a strip mall near the new Walmart. Seeing someone in trouble and I can't help him. When I was just starting kindergarten, my mother would wake me up for school by singing the chorus to "You Are My Sunshine." She meant well, but even without knowing the rest of the lyrics, it's one of the saddest fucking songs ever written. My mother is a bottomless well of emotional need who never got enough love and support. And all that song ever sounded like to me was, "I'm counting on you as my only source of happiness. But deep down we both know you'll eventually leave." Years later, when I was going through a severe depression as a teenager, she gave me a copy of "Love You Forever," with my name written in place of the child's. There's probably a German word for the mixture of horror and sadness that inspired, but I don't know what it is. Balloons being released or lost. It's why I hate helium balloons. The concept of arranged marriage. I know it's normal in some parts of the world, but it cuts into my heart like a knife. The fact teabag my mom is getting older. She's only 50, but just thinking about it makes my throat hurt. The new normal. People wearing masks and staying 6 feet away from each other. No one hugging or shaking hands. Seeing people happy when I don't have happiness myself. When someone shows me love. Waking up. Shopping for clothes. I'm a man. I get so frustrated when I see 4 floors of women's clothing. And like half a floor for men's. Like, I want to wear cool things and explore fashion. But there just isn't variety for male clothing. So if I want to make a statement, I have to wear women's clothing. And men do not get much positive attention from wearing a woman's tank top, or a form-fitting coat jacket, or a pair of leggings. Sometimes I walk into a store, have to turn away from the women's section, and feel my stomach physically recoil. Then I feel like crying. So I leave. I thrift books a lot, and it always makes me so sad to see ones that are signed from a relative with things like, "I love this and thought of you. I hope you like it." Mom Red Heart makes me wonder why they got rid of it, if they ever read it. Growing up and seeing everything change ever so slightly. Sometimes I wish I could just freeze time and keep everything exactly the way it is. Seeing my friend at work. I have such a crush on her, but she doesn't feel the same way. I feel sad cause she's a wonderful person, but it makes me not want to hang around her anymore because I just want to cry. Drive by a cemetery. Seeing everyone I know move on in life with little to no trouble. I'm happy for them, but it makes me kinda sad that I'm not where I should be. That most of modern society knows more about social media celebrities than their own real life. Friends and family. This even goes for people with stable friends and family types. Empty, run-down old houses. Since we just had it, Father's Day. My dad, who is a doctor, nearly killed me, and I'm disabled for the rest of my life due to his negligence. He went to work and my sister had to break into his house because I had a viral infection that spread to my brain, and I went blind and deaf and was a couple hours away from dying of dehydration. At the hospital they said it looked like my senses had been fucked up for approximately 24 hours. It was a Monday. He doesn't work weekends. He was home. One of you local pet rescue had to close, and although most of the pets were delivered somewhere else, I was really sad. Seeing a couple have a problem. Even a very small one. Walking into a bookstore. I love books, but the fact that I'll never read all the books I'd love gives me a bout of existentialism like no other. I went yesterday and I'm still dealing with it now. People eating alone at airports. The amount of plastics I need to throw away after every time I've done groceries. I use a different garbage can to collect paper and plastics separately, so I can clearly see how much plastics supermarkets are using. North American indigenous peoples drumming, dancing and music in person. I've been to several events that have showcased indigenous singing and dancing, and I can't even explain why it brings tears to my eyes and makes me very emotional. Edit. I guess I would add that any time I see a NZ haka online, that also makes me emotional. That strange smell that take me back to my childhood and old days. It makes me deeply sad. It reminds me that how innocent I was and what damn monster I am now. Reminds me that I am nothing but a damn failure. Only cause sadness and trouble for my loved ones. Reminds me how good things were and how everything getting worse year by year. I know people love these weird smells because it takes them back to their childhood. That's why they love it, and that's why I hate it. Dying. It's so normal, and people die for every 13 seconds that pass by. I think that sad thing is that I'm going to die one day and am not able to accept it. My kids growing up, They used to be my world and now I'm an afterthought. That's how it's supposed to be. But it still makes me sad. The ocean. Seeing people with their pets. I have a lot of allergies. When I was born I had something like 13. When I turned 7, my mom bought me a puppy that I named Sparky and he was the highlight of my life for 3 years. Then I developed an allergy to his hair and we had to sell him. Now every time I see people with their pets I get sad. Rain. I know it's good, and I haven't had a bad experience or anything. It just gets me sad. When having a shower, and some of the shampoo or soap falls out of your hand and goes down the drain. Hits you right in the feels. Shampoo is wasted and never gets to fulfill its purpose. Malls. Now specifically malls in communities of less than 250,000 people. They're a slowly dying thing. Babies and children just being babies and children. I think I had a really fortunate childhood but took it for granted and never truly appreciated my life because of it. After experiencing and understanding how real and unforgiving life can be, I always have a sense of sadness when I'm around newborns and young children. I love kids and I think the sadness comes from acknowledging their innocence and reminding myself of what I didn't appreciate. Something like that, lol.